Welcome to Alcohol and Other Drugs at Work, What Employees Should Know. This program will increase your awareness about alcohol and other drugs of abuse, the effect these substances have on the workplace, employee well-being, and workplace productivity. You will be provided with information about the diseases of alcoholism and drug addiction. You will learn about the common myths and misconceptions about alcohol, drug use, and addiction. You will come to understand loss of control, how denial works, and how to not enable a friend or loved one. You will also see pictures of legal and illegal drugs of abuse, along with the signs and symptoms of their abuse. If you have any questions after viewing this program, be sure to speak with someone from your Employee Assistance Program, a human resource specialist, or another professional assigned to manage your organization's drug-free workplace policy. Enjoy the program. This chart shows how tolerance to alcohol works. High tolerance means that a person can drink more than most people and not feel alcohol's effects, even though they are more intoxicated than they feel. On the left, a typical driver may feel intoxicated when his or her blood alcohol level rises to 0.08 and will demonstrate erratic driving. However, a person on the right with drug tolerance to alcohol may not feel intoxicated, and erratic driving may not be observable until his or her blood alcohol level rises much higher. Likewise, more serious problems with alcohol's effects on the body will affect the alcoholic and the non-alcoholic drinker differently. On the left side of the chart are the corresponding behaviors of a non-alcoholic person as their blood level rises. Notice at some point death will occur, but it is below the point of the person who is alcoholic. By the way, the highest blood alcohol level in an alcoholic who lived, found in the medical literature, is 1.5% blood alcohol level, nearly 20 times legal intoxication. Cross-tolerance. Cross-tolerance describes the ability of an employee with a drug addiction problem to substitute one drug for another. For example, substituting Valium or Xanax for alcohol, a common occurrence for alcoholics who seek treatment for anxiety caused by alcohol use and withdrawal. Now the alcoholic becomes addicted to both. Loss of control is a hallmark of addiction and addictive disease. The emphasis is on the word consistently, because anyone can stop drinking whenever they want to. It's staying stopped that separates the social drinker from the alcoholic or addict. Loss of control means the inability to consistently choose when one is going to drink, where or what occasion will drink, and how much will be consumed, and very importantly, what will happen if one drinks. Social drinkers can consistently predict their ability to control all the factors shown here, such as time, place, and amount of alcohol they consume. As the disease progresses, most alcoholics will eventually discover maintenance drinking. This is consuming alcohol at a rate and frequency to stay continually intoxicated. This is why some alcoholics drink in the morning. An employee who consistently has alcohol on their breath in the morning is maintenance drinking to prevent withdrawal. Alcohol or drug addicts with job problems who are in denial about their addiction are often convinced that other problems cause their job performance shortcomings. Such employees are able to convince the supervisor that these other problems are primary. Here is a good understanding of how denial works. Addicts have a definition of addiction that excludes them. Addicts focus on symptoms of addiction that they do not have and use this information to avoid self-diagnosis. Addicts change their definition over time to exclude worsening symptoms. Denial is a defense mechanism that works hand in hand with myths and misconceptions about addiction. Denial is used to avoid awareness and is reinforced by others who are willing to participate in it. Depressants. Depressants are also called downers, sedatives, hypnotic drugs, minor tranquilizers, and anti-anxiety medications. They are grouped into two classes, barbiturates and benzodiazepines. Barbiturates are the more dangerous of the two, especially when mixed with alcohol. Both classes of drugs have alcohol-like effects depending on the dose. Absenteeism, reduced productivity, and increased accidents are associated with abuse of these drugs. Their impact on psychomotor skills is severe and makes them especially hazardous. Depressants produce feelings of euphoria, relaxed inhibitions, disorientation, and reduced motor coordination. Major tranquilizers or barbiturates. Tranquilizers are used orally, but some can be injected after the capsule's contents are dissolved in water. Withdrawal symptoms include anxiety, insomnia, tremors, delirium, convulsions, and possible death. Overdose involves shallow respiration, clammy skin, dilated pupils, weak and rapid pulse, coma, and death. Symptoms include slurred speech, disorientation, drunken behavior when used in large quantity. These drugs are legally prescribed medications, but are often illegally diverted in hospitals. Barbiturates are dangerous because tolerance increases rapidly. Increasing dosage levels to get the same effect eventually approaches lethal limits. A drink or two is all it may take to go over it and cause death. Shorter-acting barbiturates are preferred by addicts, such as Seconal, Nimbutal, and Amytal. These drugs can also be crushed up, dissolved, and injected. Minor tranquilizers. The effects are the same as major tranquilizers. Benzodiazepines predominate the sedative drug market. 1/3 of all prescriptions in the country include this class of drugs. They were first marketed in the 1960s. They were touted as much safer depressants with far less addiction potential than barbiturates. Unfortunately, these drugs share many of the same undesirable side effects of the barbiturates. Even at recommended dosages, prolonged use can lead to dependence. Unlike barbiturates, larger doses of benzodiazepines are less often fatal, unless combined with other drugs or alcohol. Still, many suicides and attempts involve them. Well-known benzodiazepines include Xanax, Valium, Librium, Ativan, Serax, Syntrax, and Klonopin, among others. Rohypnol, or Roofies. This is a sedative drug. Rohypnol produces effects similar to Valium. It appeared in the United States several years ago and is smuggled in illegally from other countries. It is not manufactured in the U.S. It has become popular among young people as a drug of abuse. It is called the date rape drug. It is also popular at all-night parties with high pulsating music called raves. Cannabis. Cannabis is marijuana, and its byproducts are hashish and hashish oil. Cannabis is usually smoked but can be eaten. Overdose of the drug will produce fatigue, paranoia, and possible psychosis. Withdrawal symptoms include insomnia, anxiety, hyperactivity, and decreased appetite. Workplace dangers include driving or occupational accidents, accidents from distorted time and space relationships, and impaired coordination. Other hazards include impaired motor skills and concentration. Cannabis is the second most used drug in the U.S. after alcohol. It is grown clandestinely nationwide. When smoked, the user feels high within minutes, peaking out in 10 to 30 minutes. Effects depend on the user's psychological state and THC strength. Low doses provide a feeling of well-being, relaxation, and a more vivid sense of sight, smell, taste, and hearing. Stronger doses may intensify reactions, shifting sensory imagery, rapidly fluctuating emotions, flights of fragmentary thoughts with disturbed associations, altered sense of self-identity, paranoia, illusion of heightened insight, and hallucinations. Frequently reported are hunger and an increased desire for sweets. Cannabis is called pot, Mary Jane, grass, or Acapulco gold. The active ingredient that creates euphoria is tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. Marijuana is stronger than it was in the 1960s or 1970s. It is grown domestically, and much of it is also smuggled into the U.S. Marijuana, hashish, and hashish oil have increasing levels of THC. Marijuana may be laced with adulterants such as PCP, substantially altering the effects and toxicity. In 1974, the average THC content in marijuana was less than 1%. Today's marijuana approaches 17%. Marijuana is addictive, but not all who experiment with the drug will become addicted. Research has demonstrated that marijuana alters brain chemistry, making users susceptible to other drug use. This is accompanied by cellular withdrawal, with abrupt cessation of the drug after long-term use. THC has the same impact as heroin on the key brain site that influences addiction to other drugs. 90% of polydrug users say that marijuana was their first drug.